So it's officially been 1 year since the Nintendo Switch 2 was announced, and I remember it like yesterday, man. I remember waking up on that day. Oh, we got a communication error. Great start. Great start to the video. Anyways, like I was saying, I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember, again, waking up super early in the morning and seeing that Nintendo had just shadow dropped the reveal trailer to their next console, which kind of unlike them. I remember them in like 2020 when they just shadow dropped that Nintendo Direct Mini. You guys remember what I was talking about? That like 26-minute presentation when COVID was just kind of beginning over here and whatnot. And man, it really was something. And it started it was the spawn of one of the craziest years in Nintendo's history. Without a shadow of a doubt, it has been quite a year. And I've made several videos going over it, but I'll try and keep it a little bit brief when I go through it here. Nintendo, again, very, very rough, tumultuous year, but also a lot of triumphs as well. The Switch 2 becoming the best-selling console ever in its first few months, slowing down near the holidays, but definitely a formidable console. It sold pretty well. I remember it was like 3 million in 4 days? Genuinely insane, but also the lows of that April 2nd Nintendo Direct. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Oh my god, the negative feedback about the prices was astronomically high. So I want to take a minute and just kind of reflect once again over the past year, but kind of look at it in a different lens. Has Nintendo had a good year or have they had a bad year? In my personal opinion, it's mixed, of course. It's always mixed, but you need to look at it at every single angle. The Nintendo Switch 2, I feel as though the vibes since the console was announced have been off. I saw a video by one of my favorite creators on the website. His name is Endo. I'll leave a link in the description to the video I am referring to. But before I made this one, before I hopped on the mic here, I decided to watch that one because I want to get in the frame of mind. You know, before you film, you want to get in the frame of mind of what you're going to talk about when you're, actually making the video. And what Endo said was very interesting to me. And he said that the reason the Switch 2 feels off is because it's just a souped up Switch 1. The jump between the Wii U and the Nintendo Switch 1 was massive. You went from the Wii U selling like frickin' 13 million consoles to the Switch, which was going to be a juggernaut. We had no idea. But even the concept was just complete. Even from the Wii to the Wii U, there was always that one gimmick that made each Nintendo console just pop. What made it memorable. And the Switch 2 really doesn't have that. It's really just a Nintendo Switch Pro. It's just a souped up Nintendo Switch 1, which is exactly what we wanted and what we needed. And it was the safest way for Nintendo to actually go about things. But that comes at the cost of making it a little bit more boring of a console launch. And I still remember launch day. I was so excited. That stream that we did on launch day will go down as one of my favorites, without a shadow of a doubt. It was awesome. We played so much. I remember getting my GameCube controller in the mail on launch day when it was supposed to come the next day. It was a great time. It really was. And but after that stream and in the subsequent days, I remember feeling a little bit empty. I'm not gonna lie to you. I had just spent 700 Canadian dollars on every little thing I could possibly get for this console. I decided to upgrade everything, and I gotta be real. After the initial the initial excitement of getting a new console wore off, I kind of realized that there's not much different from Switch 2 to Switch 1. It really isn't like anything to write home about. It's the games are like, obviously the games are the difference, but like even something like the eShop where they completely overhauled the entire thing doesn't really feel like that big of an upgrade, which has led the past 7 months to be relatively boring. If you want to put it that way, I think it's a relatively boring time because there's nothing crazy. And game chat, I mean, obviously that was a new thing, but we're in a day and age where Discord and there's so many different messaging apps where you can phone people. Hell, you can even just phone people now. It's ridiculous how it's not really a new feature. It's certainly not something to get excited about. And Even the handheld aspect of it, where you can do 120 hertz on the Switch 2 screen, it's really nothing to write home about, because it's, I mean, 2017, the concept of bringing console games on the go was huge. It was absolutely huge because it was new. 8 years later, it's really nothing. It's just new. It's the same thing. It's something we've had for so long. It's just normal now. It's nothing crazy. Even we've had Xbox dip their toes into it. We've had the Steam Deck, which is, I would say, the Switch's biggest competitor. And then, of course, the PlayStation Portal. Like, it's just normal. Handheld console gaming is just a normal thing now. And like, that brings me back to my point, is that the Switch 2 really did not have that. It really didn't have that killer feature that made you want to go out and buy it. Nothing to really differentiate itself from the Nintendo Switch 1. And I believe that is by design. I mean, obviously, it's by design. Nintendo wanted to play it safe. You've got a huge brand, like the Switch brand is nothing like the Wii. Like, nothing, not even close. The Wii was like, appealed to casual gamers at heart. The Switch 1 appealed to everybody. Straight up, casuals and hardcore gamers. It was a great duo. In fact, I got a PlayStation 5 over the holidays, and I have found that it's a perfect duo with the Switch 2. You've got the Switch 2 for all those like Nintendo games and whatnot, and then you've got the PlayStation for all the third parties and whatnot. It's a great duo, and it's kind of crazy to think that over the past year, we went from pure elation, like there was nothing but hype and excitement around the Nintendo Switch 2, and the year that unfolded after that day made us kind of reflect, and it was kind of like a humble slap in the face, is what I would call it. The Switch 2 was not what we thought it was going to be. We thought we were going to be all over it, and we were, but not in the same way we were 8 years ago when the Nintendo Switch 1 came out, because you got to keep in mind, Nintendo was struggling. Back in the day, bro, they were struggling like hell with the Wii U. The 3DS was the only thing really keeping them afloat. Remember, Iwata cut his salary in half so that they could avoid as many layoffs as possible. Like, that was the type of stuff Nintendo was. And then now, fast forward to now, Nintendo's stock price has literally never been higher. I mean, it's dipped in recent times, but they are you know, put it this way, they are more successful than they were entering the Switch 1 era. So things were always going to be different. But another point that Endo brought up in his video that I highly recommend you go watch, please go check it out. He said that, are we just getting older? And that is also a wonderful point that you, I mean, we're all older, man. I was what? I don't even remember how old I was. I think I was like 12 or 13 when the Switch 1 came out. Maybe a little bit, I don't know. But now I'm 21. I'm 21 years old. Things are going to be different. You've got different priorities. I'm no longer in school. You've got jobs. You've got work. You've got other real-life obligations other than, like, coming home and playing games after class. Like, that's the reality of a lot of us that grew up with the Switch 1. And and I'll just say this, if you are still young, enjoy the Switch 2. Please enjoy your freaking youth, man. You're gonna look back on it, you're gonna be like, hey, I wish I wanna freaking, you gotta make the most of it, man. You gotta absolutely make the most of it. But like I'm saying, is that it's a completely different dynamic than it was when we were kids. And that also needs to be a factor. Like, you're looking at, even just culturally, people, I've seen so many people talk about 2016. I'm going to be real with you. I heard that 2016, back in the day, when the year was over, people were saying that was the worst year of all time. Literally, the worst year of all time. I remember that. Everyone was like, this is the worst year of all time. And now it's like everyone's got that nostalgia for it. And that is the power of the nostalgia bug. You gotta take off your rose-tinted glasses and realize that, like, we're all older now. Things are different, and we're gonna look back on years past and realize that, hey, things were great back then because we had less responsibility. And I think that's the overall thesis behind all of this, is that the Switch 2 is just a souped-up Switch 1. There's nothing terribly exciting about it other than, like, you're going to be able to play the next generation of Nintendo on it. So that's essentially all I've got to say. The Switch 2, I'm very excited to see how this era unfolds. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comments below. Make sure you go check out Endo's video. Will be in the link in the description, or it'll be on screen right now if I'm not lazy. And yeah, thank you guys so very much for watching. Make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out, everybody.